Welcome to Difficult Conversation Africa broadcast. I present to you the host, Yinka Olaito.
The economy looks like a roller coaster, and even the geopolitical policies are changing the global economy in a negative way, and it's making the economy to be uncertain for most people. Interestingly, prices are rising, and people are losing their job, and whatever you call job safety is almost gone. But in the midst of all this, there's a good news. Individuals can still build their wealth and protect what they have at hand and come out stronger despite the challenges in economy. Today on Difficult Conversation African podcast, we are looking at how to build equity, financial resilience in an uncertain economy. We all know that the global economy is very uncertain. It goes up and it goes down and everywhere, and people are not very certain about what they're doing. All right, my guest today is a professor, is a university professor one, is a food scientist, and so he may not come as a financial expert. What we're trying to do today is not to look at a financial expert opinion. We are looking at a person who has been able to build his own wealth and has been able to transition from financial inadequacy to financial independence to the level that he has built his stock and he has invested in stock and built his equity both in the developing world and in advanced country, meaning that he has invested, he has through his own experience, had invested in stock, built his wealth through blockchain and many other investment and instrument financial platform to be able to become a financially stable person. So Tosin Badeniyi is not coming as a financial expert, and we are not pushing him to be a financial expert in this conversation. But we want him to share his experience where he has been able to build his wealth to a certain and comfortable level that he has become so financially independent, and he could actually take a year break without having to look at what to eat or to be afraid of where the next meal is coming from. And therefore, I've watched him over the years, in the last 20 years or so, and his keen interest. He's also a passionate person in innovation and investment. He is a scientist that I've seen that take his investment and financial independence very seriously as far back as 20 years or over 20 years ago. He is very keen about the financial market, investment, innovation. He had even written books around it outside his food science environment. And so I want to welcome you to this platform, Tosin Badeniyi, a professor and an investment analyst.
Thanks so much for welcoming me. I really appreciate this opportunity. I'm so grateful and I'm impressed by what you're doing. I've been seeing some of your programs, difficult conversation, and it's very, very important for us to have this type of deliberation, this type of conversation, so that we can be better, so that we can learn from one another. I'm excited to talk about investments and innovation. That's my passion. Like you said, I'm a professor, but I have a PhD in food science. Then I also have an MBA. I've done a lot of courses in different universities, including Harvard. So when I'm talking from my own experience and also talking about the knowledge I've acquired over the years. And I also like talking to young people because the earlier you start, the better. So I like, we say catch them young. I like talking to people maybe people in their teens, in their 20s. So it's better for them to know about it because I also knew about it immediately I finished my first degree, and it has helped me to dive into it. We've learned along the way. And like you said, we live in a world that things are changing globally. I was in Nigeria about 2 weeks ago. I saw inflation, and there's inflation everywhere. rapid inflation. There's interest rate going up. So as individuals must understand investing. We must understand how can we edge against all those problems. And we are you were talking about resilience. How can we be resilient? So when we have the required knowledge, we can be resilient. And one of the things I try to talk to people is about learning. When I was finishing my first degree, someone told me read 3 books. Number one, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, The Richest Man in Babylon, and also uh, Rich Dad Poor Dad. Those books really influenced my investment journey. And I tell people to think about reading because you have to invest in reading, in knowledge. That is how you can really try.
We will get into the depth of the thing. Thank you for the the background to what you do. So let's go to the first question. When we talk about building equity in a personal finance context, like we keep saying, we will be sharing your own experience, how you are able to build it. You do not come in as a global financial expert. We are talking to, we want our listeners and our viewers to learn from you. So your own personal financial journey, finance context, what exactly does that mean for you and for every person? That is, how do we build equity? When you hear that, what does it mean?
Most of the time when we talk about equity, you're talking about stocks. And it's all about investing in companies that are listed on the um, stock exchange. And in all over the world, you have different stock exchanges that you have in different countries. So if you take, for example, in Nigeria, a lot of companies are listed on this stock exchange, and you can buy these companies. And when you buy this company, you are taking ownership in those shares. That you are becoming part of the owners of those companies. So that's what equity is all about, talking about stocks of companies. And you can buy them. But before you buy them, you have to do your due diligence because not all companies that are listed on those exchanges survive at the end of the day. Some of them even are there. They are just there. They are not going to be giving profit to people, to their investor. Some of them, their shares might be going down. So before you buy any stock, you've got to do your due diligence. And also, if the economy of the country is not doing well, you can be sure that those equity, you might not make profit in those equity. So you have to do your due diligence. Okay. Yeah.
Thank you, Tosin, for that. We will get into some of the techniques that you have used because I know that while you are in Nigeria, you invested in a lot of stocks that really did not perform well. And I think that our listeners and viewers would like to know how can an investor who is trying to build an equity can work all over or work around all this. But before then, the question I want to ask is, why is financial resilience more important now than in previous economy?
Financial resilience is more important because the other time I was talking about high interest rates, talking about people losing their jobs, and also because of innovation. You have AI. A lot of companies are really, firing their workers because they discover because of AI, they don't need the number of workers like they need before. They needed before. So you need to be resilient. You need to think about what can I do when I lose my job, in case I lose my job. Do you want to start a business? Do you want to start investing early? You want to know different types of investment asset classes and not only stocks. There are so many other investment asset classes. So you also want to think about inflation. You have the problem of inflation all over the world. You want to look at what are investments that can edge against inflation. Say, for example, inflation is, let's say, in your country, like in Nigeria, inflation is at 30%. So if you really want to try, well, I think it's up to 20%. If you want to try, then you want to make sure that your investment is growing more than inflation. So those are the things you've got to begin to understand. You must understand, all those things that can help you to be resilient. And one of those things that you can use is you can think about gold. If you invest in gold, gold is an edge against inflation. So you can be resilient when you're investing in gold. But when you're investing in S&P 500, if you have opportunity to invest in the US market, over the years, we've been able to discover that you can hedge against inflation with S&P 500. And there are also other emerging asset classes that can help you to really hedge against inflation. So you've got to do your research. They always say, do your research, do your research, do your research, and understand how you can hedge, how you can be resilient. It's all about doing your research. That's how you can be resilient in today's, they call it, a war that is very, very destructive. Yeah.
Thank you, Tosin, for that. Over the years, before I go, I've seen you invested while you are in Nigeria. You invest in the stock market, then you move to South Africa. You were there for like about 12, 15 years, and then you invested in that market too. And then before you eventually moved to the US, and you are investing in the US market. And I remember you always say, oh, invest in stock, invest in blockchain, invest in whatever, invest in this one. And for me, I'm a bit risk-averse person. I don't want to lose my money. So it draws to this question where we say, what first step should individual take to start building financial resilience, and even if their income is modest? Because I've seen you started investing since when your money was not as big, and then you grow.
Okay, let me just say that I'm still investing in Nigerian markets. Uh, I started investing more than 20 years ago. I was introduced by one stockbroker, Mr. Bizio Deleye, chartered accountant, and so I started investing through them. Recently I went to Nigeria, and my dad gave me uh, because I think about 2006, Transcorp, they did their initial public offer, and I bought it. Maybe it was 15,000. I bought it at 50. I bought just 1,000 shares of Transcorp, and Transcorp. I think the chairperson is Tony Ilumelu, and I bought it. And when I went home just 2 weeks ago, my dad just gave me the shares that came 2007. Imagine, I just received it. Then I look at the value. The value has increased, although it might not have increased compared to if I had invested that 15,000 in US market or South African market. I will have made more money, but still the value has increased. So what I'm saying is this: even in Nigeria, there are some stocks that if you invest in them and you hold them for long, you can still make some profit. And recently, I've been buying more of Nestle Foods. And if you look at Nestle Foods, in the last 1 year, it has done very well. So I keep investing in Nigeria. I've invested in South Africa market because I was in South Africa for more than 10 years. And also I'm investing in the US. But I found out that the better the economy, the more money you make. That's why if you're investing in US market, you make more money compared to South Africa and then compared to Nigeria. So when it comes to investing, like I said, you have to know your risk appetite. You were talking about risk appetite the other time. But a friend of mine was talking to me. He's a professor. I was talking to him about investing when he got to the US. He's now living in the US. And I was telling him try and invest in stock, but he said it's too risky. And I asked him, "Do you know that driving is risky? But what do? You've got to drive. You've got to drive. What do? You learn how to drive." And when you learn how to drive, when you understand the rule of the game, the rule of the road, how to drive, you discover that it's not that risky. So that is also with investing in the stock. It's not that risky when you understand it, when you understand the rule. One of the rules is this: don't time the market, spend time on the market, be patient. If you understand the rule and you invest in the right stocks, there won't be problem. Also, you can also start with ETFs. There are some ETF like I was talking about, S&P 500. Those are the 500 leading companies in the US. We've seen that over the years when you invest in them, you have average of more than 10%. So you can start with ETF. You can look at gold ETF, AAU, Goldman Sachs ETF. You will see, you can look at all those things, but you've got to do your you have to do your research. You have to do, and also what I think I also talk to people is about having what I call abundance mindset. When you have abundance mindset, when you know you can, everybody can be successful in life, it's very easy for you to change your mindset about wealth. And that was why I prescribed a book the other time. Think and Grow Rich. You have to first deal with your thinking, because everyone can be successful in this world. It's all about how you think, and invest for the long time. Don't be a trader. I tell people, a lot of people are traders. People make some money through trading, but more people lose money through trading. So it's better that if you are starting as an investor, you want to invest in equity, you want to invest in growth, it's better that you think long time, and you be more resilient, you
Uh,
make more money long time.
when you say think long term, which is very important, I'm not, yes, there's no quick fix it in life, and every shortcut often leads to destruction. But the fact is, what is disposable income of an average person, especially people in Nigeria? How do we balance that when what you are taking home is not even enough? And you are advising that it is better to think long term, don't time the market, let you go for it. Where will I have money to eat? That's an average poor person mentality. So, like you said, it all starts with having the right mindset, abundant mindset. How do we start with that mindset to number one?
You mentioned something that, especially if you are living in a country where there's high rate of unemployment, or where the minimum
Poverty
wage is
level is
so high,
high.
where the poverty level is high. So it's going to be difficult for people, uh, such people, to think about saving, because what they are able bring take, they say, what I'm taking home, my
It's
take
not
home pay
cannot take
cannot
me
take me
home.
home. So it's going to be
Exactly.
difficult, yeah, for such people to save. First thing first is, how can those people earn more money? How can you earn more money if you
Okay.
are living in? So first thing is earning. The first thing we talk about is earning. Then number two is saving, because if you don't earn enough, you won't be able to save, because you are thinking about the
Exactly.
necessity of life. You're thinking about the necessity of life. You are thinking about, you want to put food on your table. You want to pay your children's school fees.
You
If
have
you
to
cannot pay
survive
your
first.
children's school fees, how are you going to think about saving? So that's a challenge. So the first thing is, how can individual break from this poverty cycle? You have to think about, how can I increase my earning? And you must believe that also, even in Nigeria, if you have a job, what other thing can I do? What business can I start? Okay, or maybe, apart from reducing your, I also see that in Nigeria, some people also spend some money. Okay, they do a lot of parties in Nigeria. Okay, so if you're in a place where you're doing a lot of parties, and instead of you, every time you are contributing to buy those things, you can say, okay, I'm not going to be buying all those Ashwebi, all those things. So you want to look for ways of saving. Apart from looking for way of saving, you also want to start. You can start something, small business. Maybe you are buying and selling. You can go to, let's say you go to a Dumota. Then you start buying things. You maybe you bring it to your people, maybe in a Korodu. You look at necessity that you can sell. So you can think of selling, you can think of a business. So from there, if you begin to save some money, then you can now put it aside to invest. But like I also said, it's not only stocks that you can invest in. You have other people invest in other asset classes. You must also understand yourself. Like, people invest in property in Nigeria. Property in Nigeria has done so well. But you also have to know about the risk involved. So there are so many things we can do to make more money, but you must know the type of investment asset class you want to invest in. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's also good to advocate for some people. I think that having a abundance mindset is good, and then thinking about how to increase your earning, because I'm trying to create a scenario of somebody that I knew with two children and a wife, and he's earning like 100,000 naira in Nigeria money, which is less than $100 in the US, and his transport fare is almost taking 60,000 out of that money, which is 60% of that money, leaving him with 40% that cannot even feed the family. So I think that some economic situation can be so harsh that it can really be difficult to actually. But like you said, your mindset, your shift, your thinking start. You start from that place to make. You start from there.
Absolutely. Yeah, it
So
starts. And also, you must also think that if you are somebody like that, okay, what skill do you have? And I have a friend that teaches mathematics mathematics and physics to people in different countries. And this guy lives in Nigeria. So, but is using online platform to teach children in the US, maybe in the UK, and they pay in dollars, they pay in foreign currency, even though it's based in Nigeria. So you must ask yourself, what skill do I have? That even though I'm based in Nigeria, how can I, add value to people? So it starts from there. You must also teach about entrepreneurship. Okay, what is the problem in my society? Maybe in my society, all around us, we have plastics all around. The environment is dirty. What initiative can I start? You can start an initiative to make an impact. And from making that impact, you can have people that will give to your cause. And because they are giving to the cause you've started, from there you can even make money. So we must teach about entrepreneurship. And from entrepreneurship, from adding value, we can increase our earning. From increasing our earning, we can save. From saving, then we can invest part of our savings in equity and in other investment asset classes.
yeah, thank you, because we need to clarify that side, and I'm happy that you have been able to open our listener or viewers to that side. What skill do I have? Even though my take home cannot take me home, ability to think outside the box and within the box and create another means of income will help set the ball rolling towards financial independence and saving. All right. Next question is, in an uncertain economy, how can people balance the need for growth with the need to protect their assets? And in your own experience, how have you done it? Because I know you've lived in Nigeria, you've lived in South Africa before you moved to the US.
I've been fortunate because I did my PhD. I used to be a lecturer at FUTA. Then I went to South Africa to do my PhD. I got a job. I started investing, and I was able to make some money. Maybe from my job. I know about savings. I started investing in saving. I started investing in different asset classes. So by the grace of God, I've got to a stage where I can decide, okay, I might not work, and I'll still be able to pay my bills. But it's all about because I started early, but and also because, like I also mentioned, something I've been talking about abundance mindset, and also being able to have multiple streams of income, knowing my skill. I write a lot. Um, I provide. I also have a business that I started in the US. I provide solutions for people. All those different streams of income have been able to help me to stabilize, to have financial independence. So what I would tell people is this: uh, number one, it's important to have that abundance mindset. Number two, begin to think about how you can increase your streams of income. And 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 it's all about starting early, like I said. Once you start early, you believe that it's possible. And most importantly, let me also say this thing: I'm a Christian, I believe that God is the one that gives us wealth. The Bible says, always remember that it is the Lord thy God that giveth thee power to get wealth. God gives us power to get wealth, especially when we have the mindset that the wealth God is going to give to us, we're not going to be selfish about it. We're going to be a blessing. God is the one that gives wealth. And another thing that you also must also think about giving. When you are also someone that is also giving, these are these are just natural law. When you give, the Bible says, sorry that I'm quoting scripture. I know in difficult conversation, maybe people don't quote scripture, sorry, but I love the scripture. It says, give and it shall be given unto you. So when you have all these attributes, when you have all these factors together, knowing that it's God that gives you well, you understand your skill and you begin to use your skill in this uncertain world, you can thrive. Because there are so many problems out there that you can find solution to. Look at AI now. What can you do with AI? You must ask yourself, how can I use prompt? Or what new skill can I learn? People are talking about cybersecurity. Can I learn cybersecurity? Can I learn project management? I know people are saying, how am I going to pay for all those things? But there are free courses online. Sailor has a university that you can do a lot of free things, free courses. So you can learn about all this. I'm talking especially for young people. And when you learn all these things, you can also make money, even though it's an uncertain world, and you can try. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate the fact that you've been hammering issue of mindset, and there's a need for mindset changes because when your mindset is open, and I also like the fact that it is not all about amassing wealth. There's something you have said, giving, and I think that you have lived that life openly for me to see that it is not just about amassing wealth. What is the value of that wealth? And when you take responsibility for the benefit of the society, the money you acquire, there's a way that the law of the universe and God often make sure that you don't run out of what you need. So, how does personal financial equity connect to broader economic equity in the community? That's the question I want to. Why does it matter? Well, we're talking about giving. We're talking about when you are financially stable, it will affect the society because it's when you are financially stable that you can actually give to other people. So, I'm asking you, in your own experience, how has your personal equity affect the community? I know that you are involved in giving sometime because I remember that we were sharing last year that you decided to buy some bag of rice and send it back to Nigeria to give it to less privileged. So I think that can you share more of this? How your personal equity can actually lead to community well-being. Because since we are talking that financial independence is not only about amassing wealth for yourself, it's about using it for the benefit of the society. So share from your experience how your personal financial freedom has actually affected the community where you live or where you've left behind. I remember we were talking one time when you were still in South Africa. You said that sometimes you go out to go and buy even oranges or banana and give it to homeless and homeless people along the street that you don't even know, and then you use that to actually warm up with them. So, can you please give us instances in this area how you think that personal equity and financial problem can actually affect community well-being at large?
Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, that when you understand that the wealth that you have has been given to you for the common good, not for yourself alone, you want to be socially responsible. And I'm one of those people that believe in stakeholder capitalism. I love capitalism. I don't like communism. And that's one of the reasons why I like Republican currently, because they try as much as possible to reduce the tax people pay. Because when you reduce tax, the entrepreneurs pay. They want to employ more people, and you encourage them to be more innovative. But at the same time, as entrepreneurs, as people that are successful, you also understand that the money you have is not for you and your family alone. You want to be responsible. And stakeholder capitalism talks about, thinking about the planet, thinking about the people, not and also profit. Profit is important, but you don't want to focus only on profit. You don't want to focus on only on yourself. You are thinking about the common good of the society. So personally, as a person, I'm always thinking about what can I do. You know, this man said, John F. Kennedy, former US president, he said, don't ask what your country will do for you, ask what you will do for your country. So when you are successful, and that's why US is a very successful country, because you have a lot of people that they are committed to philanthropy. So when they are successful, they give back to the society. So that's the kind of mindset that I have. That when I'm successful, I give back. I want to I want to help the less privileged. I want to look at the problem of food insecurity in Nigeria. How can I contribute to that? How can I contribute to the person that is homeless? So that's what happens. But most of the time, when you don't have enough, it might be difficult for you to give. But when you are financially well, it's easier for you to give.
Thank you, Tosin. Because of our time, I need your thought on this final question. Now, based on your experience, what are looking forward? What advice will you give to people who are struggling, trying to meet up their financial need, and an encouragement that you can say, this is how to build resilience? It will not. That's what I need you to give as your closing thoughts.
Okay. One thing I just want to say is that to make money, to be rich in life, is you don't need, it's not money. It's not money that you really need to make money. What you need to make money is wisdom. Is wisdom. And everybody can get wisdom. The first thing, okay, especially if you're a child of God, you can ask God for wisdom. Even some people that don't believe in God, some of them are smart. They look at their environment and think, what is the problem? Like, if you have an idea, if you have a very good idea, even if you live in Nigeria, if it's a good idea, you can find someone that will invest in it. So the first thing I will tell people is this: to just change their orientation, to change their mindset, that to be successful, you need money. It's not money you really need to be successful. You need good ideas. You need wisdom. That's what you need to be successful. And like I also said the other time, believe in abundance, that you can be blessed, you can be successful, and get yourself doing something, and get yourself making some money. And when you're making some money, even though the money might not be enough at the moment, think about how you can increase your earning. Like I've said, there are so many things you can do. Even we live in a global community. What skill do you have that you can share with the world? Maybe you know maths. Maybe you know, okay, there's a lady that teaches my daughter how to play piano. The lady is in South Africa. But we are in the US, the lady teaches her. So do you know how to play piano? Can you begin to teach people? Do you know how to sew clothes? Can you begin to teach people how to sew clothes? You can begin to make money. So there are so many things you can do. Okay. I tell you, even in Nigeria, I was in Nigeria. I went to one place to buy. I tell you how much I bought a clothes in Nigeria from one fashion designer. Maybe about 70,000 naira. I was in Nigeria. Just what it's. So I'm saying that there are people in Nigeria making it there because they discovered their talent and they are making it. So change your mindset because you're in a country and maybe things are not going well. Don't just think that for you it will remain like that. If you tell yourself, I'm going to do something, I'm going to learn something, I'm going to believe in God, I'm going to start small, but think big, things will change for you. So that's what I just want to tell people.
Thank you, Tosin, very much, and thank you for that. It's very clear that your interest in investment, in innovation, is driving you harder than even your normal professional core, which is food science and all of that. I have been talking with Tosin Badeniyi, a professor, a university professor who just left the university to pursue some other thing within the industry. But more importantly, is somebody who loves investment, innovation, and he had shown the consistency of his passion for investment, innovation, and building equity in different environment from developing to a developed world. Tosin, I want to say thank you, and thank you for sharing with our audience today. It's a privilege. I hope that we can have a second part to this in the future. And I want to wish you well. Stay on top of what you are doing and continue to be a blessing to this generation. And to our viewers, I want to say thank you all for listening. Please don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel or to subscribe to our newsletter at www.difficultconversationafrica.org, and to follow us on all our social platforms, X and on Facebook, as well as Instagram. See you in the next edition. Thank you and have a good day.
Thank you for listening to this episode. For inquiry, please send an email to info@difficultconversationafrica.org. Telephone 0809 3160 591. Please follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Difficult Conversation Africa. See you soon.